Sairam, the next the next paragraph, chapter 2. The heading of this paragraph is, or this particular story is, Significant and Prophetic Title. Right? Shri Dabholkar goes on to write, the word discussion put me in mind of my promise to explain the story of my getting the title of Saipanth. And now I begin to relate the same. So it is kind of a little bit of a flashback. So Shri Dabholkar goes on narrating. I was on close friendly terms with Kaka Sahib Dikshit and Nana Sahib Chandorkar. They pressed me to go to Shirdi and have Baba's darshan. And I promised them to go do so. But something in the meantime turned up, which prevented me from going to Shirdi. The son of a friend of mine at Lonavala fell ill. My friend tried all possible means, physical and spiritual, but the fever would not abate. At length, he got his guru to sit by the bedside of his son, but this too was of no avail. Hearing this, I thought, what was the utility of the guru? If he could not save my friend's son, if the guru can't do anything for us, why should I go to Shirdi at all? Thinking this way, I postponed my Shirdi trip. But the inevitable must happen, and it happened in my case, as follows. Now, we will visit this particular thing. See, Shri Hemadripant never forgets his promise that he had said that how he got the title of Hemadpant, Shri Dabholkar goes on saying, and he is trying to explain it to us, how he got the prophetic title. So he says that, Nana Sahib Chandorkar as well as Kaka Sahib Dikshit insisted that he go to Shirdi, and something or the other prevented him. The only thing is, no matter what anybody says, no matter how much anybody presses or forces, we can't go unless and until the command of the master doesn't come to us. Unless and until the master says that come, you can't go. But when he commands, there is nothing which you can do. You are just going to be drawn to Shirdi. There is no way you can stop yourself. That's the truth. We all have experienced this in our lives as Saipanthis and Baba's devotees and disciples. So it's a very simple explanation about why he could not go. So he narrates an incident where a close friend of his and his son falls ill. So he tries to treat, his friend tries to get his son treated, both physically, that is, medical intervention, as well as spiritually, and he asks his guru to come and sit next to him, and still nothing happens and it doesn't help him. So he was like wondering, what is the necessity of a guru if guru cannot save my friend's son, and why should he go to Shirdi at all? So what is the utility of the guru if he could not save my friend's son? Thoughts of Shri Dabholkar. We all go through this process. What is happening right now is the churning which is happening in the mind of Shri Dabholkar. We all go through these kind of thoughts. Not necessarily similar, something or the other. We have these tarka, we have this logic. Is it a necessity? Should we go to a guru? Should we not go to a guru? What is there? More often when you are in a comfortable state, you have this discussion and deliberation within. But the moment there is a distress, we run. Forget to a guru, go to a temple, a god, or if you're a Hindu, if somebody says go to this dargah, your kith and kin is going to be fine. Or if he's a Christian, you go to this temple, it will be fine. So even religion vanishes. So somebody, some very prudent person had said that, hospitals are the place where every religion merges. Because to save your kith and kin, whatever needs to be done, you'll do. But also at the same time, when somebody is suffering and if they don't get the kind of miracle one is expecting, you tend to lose faith. That is what is happening to Sri Dabholkar. This is all a manthan, this is all a churning which is happening within the mind of Sri Dabholkar. So he goes on to say that what is the utility of a guru? Why should I even go to Shirdi? What is the point? 2-3 points, 2-3 takeaways. First, he has realized through Kaka Sahib Dikshit maybe, or Nana Sahib Chandorkar, that Sri Sainath Maharaj is a guru. He is a guru sitting in Shirdi. So that is one thing which is established, which we should know. So that's why Sri Dabholkar says, why should I even go to a guru? So he has realized he is a guru. Second, he says he tries both medical intervention, that is, physical treatment as well as spiritual treatment. And he asks his guru to come and sit next to his son and pray, meditate, or whatever. But that doesn't help. So the question arises, what is the utility of a guru? First of all, my question arises, was the person whom he believed to be a guru, was he really a guru? So that is, was he qualified to be a guru? That is a question which rises in our minds. If he were to be qualified as a guru, if he were to be spiritually evolved enough to be a guru, he would have cured his son. So what is very important for us to understand is that, first of all, know whom you are believing. Is he really a guru or not? There is a separate subject and video which explains how a seeker should identify a guru. But this is the takeaway. You should know whom you are trusting. I am not for a moment saying that he is not or he was. No. I am not judging here. All that I am saying is a possibility. I am asking a question. Was the gentleman whom his friend believed to be a guru, was he really a guru? So that is another question. Third thing, we relate everything that guru has to do what we want him to do, like the way we want him to do, what we deem fit, or what we feel is right. Only then we will believe him. So do we know the future? Do we know what is good for us? So are we going to take a call? So by altering the reality or blessing the son of Dabholkar's friend, so you mean to say that the boy comes out of his ailment, and was it really good for that boy? The altered realities have consequences. Did this friend of Sri Dabholkar reach out to the right guru or believe in the guru who was really a guru? Or was it good for that boy to recover at all or not? We don't know. We relate everything that once we are in the fold of our guru, we feel that everything has to be fine, and it has to be fine in our definition. We don't see the larger picture. So that is the problem. And just because if we are not benefited, If it doesn't happen, if things don't happen the way we want it to happen, which we feel is the right thing to happen, we start doubting, we start questioning. Do we have to go to Guru at all or not? What is the utility of a Guru? Right word he has said, utility value. Guru is not here to serve us. First of all, the first misconception, being a Guru's devotee or a disciple, we are not doing him a favor. God or Guru does not need us. He or she, the goddess or God or Guru, does not need us. And we cannot establish a sense of entitlement that this has to happen this way because I am your devotee or disciple. Sorry. There is no obligation. There is no transaction. There is only compassion. Whatever Guru does to you is out of compassion, out of love. He doesn't need you. He doesn't need any one of us. And if we think that we are serving Guru, we are taking care of his cause and this and that, he doesn't want us. Let us not have that illusion that we are serving God. He doesn't need your service. We are offering. He doesn't need your offerings. It's only his compassion that is working. It's only Guru's love and compassion that is working. Out of that he is doing. What obligation does he have? And what we deem is right for us, and things have to happen that way. If it doesn't happen, we have a question. We develop this audacious approach saying that, is it a necessity to have a Guru? Don't. He doesn't need us. We are not doing him a favor, we are doing ourselves a favor by becoming one with the Guru or reaching out to his feet. And we also should know that during the days of Baba in Shirdi, only the people who had firm faith and patience, two most powerful advice and mantra which Baba gave to us, people who had these two were saved. As we go forward in Satcharitra, everything gets revealed. People who had faith and people who had patience. Only those people were able to live a life which is spiritually fulfilling. Whatever momentary ups and downs that they go through in the worldly life, those also used to get sorted. And they led a very content life. The key to it is all two things, faith and patience. If we don't have that, don't expect anything. And please let us not develop a sense of entitlement just because we go to the Guru. We are not doing him a favor, and he doesn't need us. He doesn't need any one of us. So this is what Sri Dhabolkar's Chintan and Manthan happening in his mind. So these are few takeaways from this one particular part of this paragraph. So Sri Dhabolkar, what was the utility of the Guru if he could not save my friends? And see, conditions apply. I will be your devotee or a disciple. I should be taken care of this. It's like the conditions apply, not from the giver, from the receiver. It's the other way. So we are doing a favor to Guru by becoming his devotee or disciple, but he should take care of my well-being in a manner that we deem fit or we find is right. We don't have the patience, we don't have that amount of devotion, stating that whatever he is doing He's doing for our benefit. We don't have that. So we sit and judge. That is the state Sri Dabholkar was in at that point of time when he is narrating this, right? So for us, the takeaways are very clear as we go forward that Guru doesn't need us, we need Guru, and we are not doing a favor to Guru by becoming his devotee or disciple, please. Let's not have those illusions and let us not develop a sense of entitlement. No. He has no obligations. All that is working is compassion and love. Right? Going forward, Sri Dabholkar continues. Thinking this way, I postponed my Shirdi trip. But the inevitable must happen. And it happened in my case as follows. Shri Nana Sahib Chandorkar, who was a divisional officer, was going on a tour to Baseen. From Thana, he came to Dadar and was waiting for a train bound for Baseen. Meanwhile, a Bandra local turned up. He sat in it and came to Bandra and sent word for me and took me to task for putting off my Shirdi trip. Nana's argument for my Shirdi trip was convincing and delightful, and so I decided to start for Shirdi the same night. I packed up my luggage and started for Shirdi. I planned to go to Dadar and from there to catch the train for Manmad, and so I booked myself for Dadar and sat in the train. While the train was to start, a Mohammedan gentleman came hastily to my compartment and, seeing all my paraphernalia, asked me where I was bound to. I told him about my plan. He then suggested that I should go straight to Boribandar and not wait at Dadar, as Manmad mail did not stop at Dadar. If this little miracle or Leela had not happened, I would not have reached Shirdi the next day, as settled with Sri Chandorkar. And many doubts would have assailed me, but that was not to be. As fortune favored me, I reached Shirdi the next day before 9 or 10 a.m. Bhau Sahib or Kaka Sahib Dikshit was waiting for me there. Right? So we'll stop at this and try to understand from here. So, Sri Nana Sahib Chandorkar takes Sri Dabholkar to task. Now, what is this? Why are you postponing your trip to Shirdi? What is wrong with you? Why is it that you are not making a trip to Shirdi and take Baba's darshan? Now, it's very cryptic if you see. He just mentions, Sri Dabholkar just very sweeping statement, he says that the words of Sri Chandorkar was convincing. So I went to Shirdi. I planned to go to Shirdi. What could have been? What is the possible conversation which Sri Chandorkar and Sri Dabholkar would have had? Which Sri Dabholkar, with so much of confusion in his mind, to be or not to be, that's the question, kind of a thing, to go or not to go to Shirdi, suddenly feels very convinced. What could have been? The clarity that we are attaining here, that the Lord doesn't need you, you need Him. Don't doubt, just go. What is deciphered here, possibly, is what would have been the conversation between Chandorkar and Sri Dabholkar. Nana Sahib would have said these things, what we just discussed. Malik ko teri zarurat nahi hai. तुझे है, Do yourself a favor, go. Just go and then decide. So this is the main possible conversation. Once somebody who has got a doubt in his mind to go or not to go, if that person makes up his mind to pack his bags and go, it means something. There is a conversation. And if that is convincing, knowing Shri Nana Sahib Chandorkar, a straightforward man, and very clear in his words and thoughts, would have just said this. He doesn't need you. Do yourself a favor. You're not doing him a favor. Go, nothing, no harm. Pack your bags, leave today. A small conversation that we have deciphered just now in Satcharitra in this paragraph is firm possibility. I wouldn't say for possibility, but I would shy away from saying that with certainty that that was it. Well, I think that was it. That was the conversation that they had. So its story goes on. So let's cut the details. There is a small miracle that happens that Nana, so Shri Dhabolkar plans to go to Dadar, from there catch a train to Manmad, and so booked himself for Dadar and sat in the train. And miraculously, a Mohammedan gentleman who walks in and he asks him, "Where are you heading?" Looking at his paraphernalia. And then if he had got down at Dadar, he wouldn't have been able to reach Shirdi. If this miracle had not happened, two things would have happened. Two things would have transpired. One is that he would have not reached Shirdi. Second, the doubts would have come. Am I rejected? Am I not accepted? Am I being punished? So these are all the thoughts that might have crossed the mind of Shri Dhabolkar. These are possibilities, which certainly it would have as a common man, or just any other man like us. So he would have had these thoughts. But just imagine the omnipresence and omnipotency of Baba. He knew wherever he was. He sitting in Shirdi. It was his decision to draw Dhabolkar at that point of time where he displays the one of the most important miracle, or one of the most important example for believers of Sai Baba. Grinding of wheat in Dwarkamai by Shri Sai Baba. The whole episode which we have experienced in the chapter 1. So he had planned. He was drawn to Shirdi. He was summoned to Shirdi. Nothing could stop. Whatever obstacles that might have happened, this is just an example. This gentleman who goes and advises Shri Dhabolkar where to get on and where to board the train. If he had followed his plan, Shri Dhabolkar, the plan that he had made, he wouldn't have reached Shirdi the next day. So all these things were removed, all the obstacles in the way of his journey to Shirdi was removed. Two reasons. One, command. Time had come. Time had come for Shri Dhabolkar to reach Shirdi. Second, time had come for Shri Satcharitra, which is in our hands. Miraculous. The way the divine works is mysterious. Is very mysterious. We cannot comprehend. We just keep doubting, we just keep imagining, we just keep questioning. But the way divine works, we have no idea. Absolutely no idea. And all of us sitting here have experienced how divine works, how Baba works with us. We all have. So I'm sure all of you will agree. how he works with us. So have patience and have faith. Again, what is the takeaway is that have patience and faith. And when the master commands, you can't stop yourself. If you apply your own thoughts that I want to do it, I want to go, there's no way you can go. When the time is right, and when the time comes, when the master commands, nothing can stop you. The example is for people who have this agnostic mind. Why it is proved that, it is like a very convenient statement. Oh, jab tak bulawa nahi aayega, tab tak nahi ja payenge. That's what we say. It's like, so-called rationalists and so-called logical-minded people would say that, oh, come on, that's okay. Things didn't work out. And next time when you went to Shri and you think that that's when Baba called, so I went. Isn't it ridiculous? But now, let them answer us. That Mohammedan gentleman who walks in and advises Shri Dhaborkar, isn't that a miracle? It's not a sheer coincidence. At the same time, when others were pressing him to go to Shirdi, he could not go. His own mind was played on. Time was yet to come. So Baba's philosophy and his path is something which is always proven. If this miracle had not happened, we cannot call that a coincidence, obviously not. So that is how the Lord is proving his presence and divine miracles and mysterious way of interfering and healing our lives in this Satcharitra, in these stories, in these examples. We go forward. So Shri Dhaborkar reaches the next day before 9 or 10 a.m. and Kaka Sahib Dikshit was waiting for me there. He was aware that he would come. This was in 1910 when there was only one place, the Sathewada, for lodging pilgrim devotees. After alighting from the Tonga, I was anxious to have darshan. When the great devotee Tatya Sahib Mulkar returned from the masjid and said that Sai Baba was at the corner of the Wada and that I should first get the preliminary darshan and then after bath see him at leisure. Hearing this, I ran and prostrated before Baba and my joy knew no bounds. I found more than what Nana Sahib Chanderkar had told me. All my senses were satisfied and I forgot my thirst and hunger. The moment I touched Sai Baba's feet, I began a new life. I felt myself much obliged to those who spurred and helped me to get the darshan, and I considered them as my relatives, and I cannot repay their debt. I only remember them and prostrate mentally before them. The peculiarity of Sri Sai Baba's darshan, as I found it, is that by his darshan our thoughts were changed. The force of previous actions is abated and gradually non-attachment or dispassion towards worldly objects grows. It is by the merit of actions in many past births that such darshan is got. And if only you see Sai Baba, all the world assumes the form of Sai Baba. Beautiful explanation. Beautiful explanation about what actually happens to us, how things change in us. And let us for a moment become Shri Dhaborkar. Right? You have just reached and so Tatya Sahib Nulkar comes and tells you, Baba is at the corner of the Wada. First you go and take his darshan. Then come back, have bath, freshen up or whatever, and then have a darshan. First preliminarily, go and have a darshan of Baba. Baba is standing there with his divine dignity, Daiva Gambhirya, what we call it as, the corner of the Wada. He has come to receive Shri Dhabolkar, to see his boy, his chosen instrument, who's going to write this wonderful book called Sai Satcharithra. So he is standing there, why don't you just go take the preliminary darshan? Hearing this, I ran and prostrated before Baba, and my joy knew no bounds. The moment the fact that Lord is there and Shri Dhabolkar just runs to him without any thoughts, without questions, without any doubts, like a child gets to know that the mother has come and then the child runs to the mother. Likewise, he runs to Baba. He just falls at his feet, he prostrates, and then he says, the moment he touched his feet, his joy had no bounds. I found more than what Nanak Sahib Chandorkar had told me. Whatever Nana Sahib Chandorkar had said, that your confusion will be rested, your doubts will be cleared off, you will be blessed, you will lead a meaningful life. It's beyond all those things. The experience of running to your master and just falling at his feet is beyond all those things. Above and beyond. That is what I found, more than what Chandorkar ji had said. All my senses were satisfied and I forgot my thirst and hunger. All the senses, your wishes, your emotions, your wants, your desires, everything just touching the feet of Sri Sai Baba were fulfilled. Is it that in literal sense, if we take it, did that get fulfilled? Or those senses and wishes and desires did not matter anymore? It's the same thing. It's not necessary that the senses were all fulfilled. It may also be the thing is that those desires or those worldly senses do not matter anymore to Sri Dhabolkar. All those things are rested aside. His priorities change. His life changes. This is a life-altering experience that Sri Dhabolkar has. The moment I touched Sai Baba's feet, I began a new life. I felt myself much obliged to those who spurred and helped me to get the darshan, and I considered them as my relatives. I cannot repay their debts. The moment Sri Dhabolkar touches his feet, his life changes forever. All his thoughts are rested. A new life begins. That is the power of divine. That's the power of your Guru. When you go into the company of Guru, yesterday we were talking about satsang, being in company of right people, like-minded, spiritually like-minded people. These are the things which happen in us. We are all not Saipanthis or the followers of Baba with our own free will and accord only. We were seekers. Probably we were genuine. That's why we are drawn to him. That's why we are where we are. That's why we have been accepted by him. Have no doubts. We are at least a small bunch of people who have been accepted by Lord. As devotees or disciples, we don't know. But as entities, we are accepted. So that is what happens. The moment he touches his feet, his life changes. And see the beauty, how the thoughts changes. What does he consider all those people who pushed him and spurred him and ensured that he comes to Shirdi? He says, they are my relatives. This is what is called as Guru Bandhus. All of us here sit together as Saipanthis, we meditate, we go out, we go to different destinations, spend time like a family. What is that which is a common thread, that which binds us? The Guru. We are the family of the Master. Master being the head of the family, we are all members of the same family. When I repeatedly say that we are a small family, the numbers doesn't matter. It might be 1 or it might be 10 or 100, 1,000 or 1,000,000. Does not matter. He who understands the Guru, he who sees his Guru in fellow devotees, he or she is the one who helps a fellow devotee, prays for the fellow devotees, and does what they want to do for a fellow devotee of the same Divine Master, without any expectations, a nishkama karma, because this is our divine family. So that is the thought and emotion of Sri Dabholkar. He says, this is my family. They are my relatives. People who pushed me, who brought the gratitude. He has developed that gratitude towards all his known people who pushed him to come to Shirdi, who insisted that he should come to Shirdi, who made sure that he comes to Shirdi. But it is the command of the Master eventually, no doubt it is. But the change of thoughts in Sri Dabholkar's mind, change of emotion, where he considers them as his true relatives, not the relatives who are by blood, who are by virtue of your birth. So that is the change in Sri Dabholkar. And he also says, I cannot repay their debts. You can never repay the debts, such kind of things. I only remembered them and prostrated mentally before them. See the amount of respect and gratitude. Just imagine the state of emotion, how he has felt. If he is so thankful, if he is so overwhelmed, he is so subdued, and he just cannot express himself, just the touch of his Master, his true Master, his Guru. Look at the change that happens. The peculiarity of Sri Sai Baba's darshan, as I found is that by his darshan our thoughts are changed. The force of previous actions is abated and gradually non-attachment or dispassion towards worldly objects grow up. What we have been trying to understand in our yogic path, what really happens is said here. Whatever is going to happen to us in Shunya Kriya is what he has said is going to happen. It's explained right here. Peculiarity of Sai Baba's darshan, just the darshan. As I found it is by darshan our thoughts are changed. Now, let's take a step back about our yogic path. Sanchita karma influences our planetary positions, which make sure that your experiences and realities of your life are implemented by Ekadasha Rudras, and they influence your thoughts, and your thoughts will direct your mind to act or react in a particular manner based on your Sanchita karma. And based on the direction of the mind, the brain gives signals to your body, whether it is your tongue or your eyes or your expressions or your physical action or whatever, your action and reaction. So you act in that particular manner. This is the flow as yogis we know. Now that is where the change happens. Just by the darshan of Baba. Explained here. Our Shunya Kriya process is explained. What the darshan of Baba, what we are having is by experiencing him within us in our meditation process. When we are in a Sakshi Swarupi and Lord sits in our Sahasrara, we Shunya Kriya yogis are experiencing or having the darshan of Baba within us. And these are the things which are going to happen. One, your thoughts change. Obviously for better. You will be more forgiving. You will start having mastery or distancing yourself from the Arishad Vargas. 6 Vargas, the Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. The lust, the fury, the greed, the attachment, the ego, jealousy. So all these virtues will start, all these vices, all these negative thoughts in us starts distancing themselves. Very clearly mentioned, when your thoughts are right. When your thoughts are guru-centric. That is what is going to happen to you now. Just by sheer darshan of Baba. And he says that the force of previous actions is abated and is abated. What is that? The force of your previous action is what? Previous action, sanchita karma. Isn't it? Karma phala of your previous action. The force of it. What are experiences, negative experiences, positive experiences, or whatever. Mainly he is referring to the sanchita karma with which our experiences or our realities which we are faced is negative in nature. That is abated. And then gradually non-attachment or dispassion towards worldly object grows up. Vairagya. What comes out of Vairagya? Nirvichara Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Nirvana. When you have got perfect state of Vairagya, you have no thoughts. When there is no Sanchita Karma, your thoughts are put to rest. When your thoughts are put to rest, you have a state of Vairagya, which is dispassion. When you are in a state of Vairagya, you attain Nirvichara Samadhi. There are no thoughts. When you are consistently in a state of Nirvichara Samadhi, you will attain Nirvikalpa Samadhi, desireless state. And finally, you will attain Nirvana. The entire Shunya Kriya is explained in 3 lines here. What we are practicing is what is written here. Just by the sheer darshan. We take it literally, going to Shri and having Baba's darshan, or the yogic path that we follow. Having darshan of Baba, sheer darshan, is not what is meant here. Seeing him in yourself, establishing Baba's presence in thyself, and being in company or seeing him within us is a real darshan. So once you have this darshan, you attain nirvana. The whole process of our Shunya Kriya is only that. The whole Shunya Kriya has been explained here. Right? It is by the merit of actions in many past births that such darshan is got. And if only you see Sai Baba, all the world assumes the form of Sai Baba. Why we gain the darshan of such great masters and saints? It is due to the merit of our previous birth. Several births. We have literally taken several births to attain these blessings. Obtain these blessings that the Guru draws us. This also goes on to say that in whichever form, your Guru was always with you. In every birth, he was there. So, the merits, good deeds, and merits of several births is why we are in the presence of Baba, why we are Saipanthis today, why we are on the holy soil of Shirdi, and why we have been bestowed upon with this wonderful path of Shunya Kriya within Saipanth. So, nothing happens without the blessings and grace of your Guru. And finally, what he says that he see you, the whole world turns into him. You can't see anything above and beyond him. You can't see anything besides him. You see him in everything. You see everything in him. Your thoughts are changed. It is aligned towards looking at the whole world the way he looks at, or at least the way he wants us to look at. That is how your whole perception, your opinion, everything changes. That is what Sri Dhabulkar goes on to say in this. Just the sheer darshan of this Sadguru. Guru Samrat. How lucky, how much we can't thank him enough. Right? So this is what it is about this particular paragraph of Sai Satcharithra, chapter 2. Sai Ram.